All right, we are live. What's going on, guys? Welcome into Blockchain Buzz. What's happening, man? All right, so we got three guests today. One is running late. I'll introduce them when they get here. But for now, we got Rule Black and we got my guy Crypto Otaku in the house. Guys, just so you know, the links to everyone's channels are in the description. I put them in there for everybody, so make sure you go and you subscribe to their channels. What's going on, guys? The macro situation running wilder than Hulkamania, brother. Rule, let's start with you. What's happening, my dude?
Hey man, I'm loving these discounts. I'm just looking at everything. Like I was saying on our exclusive on Thursday, I think it's the perfect timing that they had to lower things before these crypto ETFs come out. And now they can buy everything at a discount. But yeah, I don't think we're done. I don't think this is like the bear market and the bear market's coming in. I think we're gonna go right back up when they start buying these spot cryptos for the ETFs and when the ETFs go live.
What has the general sentiment been on your channel for your live streams and stuff like that? What's the feel in your community right now? If you had to peg it down or describe it.
I think it's still pretty high, honestly. As crazy as that sounds, as far as I cover Zebek a lot. We got news for Zebek coming up about the betting, the sports betting. Supposedly, maybe they do their first game on October 25th. So coming up here in about 7 or 8 days here.
Hmm.
So things are pretty high for that. Things are really high with them saying something about Ripple possibly or being like further connected to Ripple. They also
What are you
told us,
real
yeah.
quick? What are your thoughts on that? What do you think it is?
Well, I'm still thinking that sports betting is a big thing. Maybe there's something there with RLUSD possibly, but I think the sports betting is the biggest thing.
See,
What what what? Go ahead.
I was gonna say I had a little bit of a theory as I was covering yesterday. Um, how I was rehashing the Algorand in how it's incorporated into Zbex cards and how the payment stream is actually now running on Algorand's network as well as Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana for obviously faster settlements, faster payments and stuff. Apparently, it's running on Algorand too. I was covering that, and I was thinking, do you think maybe, just maybe, what they're looking at with their product release with Ripple might be maybe something exactly the same as being able to like running on XRP Ledger as well? Maybe. What do you think about that?
I'm not quite sure there. I don't know exactly what they're gonna have like specially for Ripple. But the specialty product I think is the sports betting, but I don't know how they would tie Ripple in there. I know they'll probably do this on Uphold, like the commercial showed us, as kind of like Uphold as the super app ish type of deal. But how RLUSD or how Ripple will be a part of that, I'm not sure yet.
Mhm. Interesting. Otaku, he left this. Somehow
I
abandon us. What's
yeah,
going
I
on?
got knocked.
Oh, did
It's
you?
going, man. It's going.
So what? Same question to you. What is the general sentiment in your live streams right now and in your community? What's your feel? What's your finger on the pulse, brother?
Well, I can tell you, yeah, our community has definitely been run through the ringer, if you will. We've had a lot of therapy sessions, a lot of lube jumping around the chat. It's been kind of crazy, but overall, I feel like everyone who has basically entered this year and has watched these pullbacks have experienced those pullbacks. Have been pretty much pretty heartfelt where we are now. They've definitely gone through the motions. They're starting to get the idea of how these pullbacks feel. And honestly, we haven't seen any pullbacks quite like what we've seen already in 2021. there hasn't been like a $30,000 move on Bitcoin yet. The most we've seen are like these $10,000 candles. If you want to count the manipulation over a Binance, that $20,000 candle, yeah, I guess you can count that as well. But other than that, I don't count that. But yeah, it's pretty much been just kind of everyone holding each other's heads over the toilet as people are trying to not throw up or I don't know exactly where I was going with that, but yes, guys. Either way, I would tell the overall sentiment is probably like 60% still bullish, 40% bearish now. Kind of different from where we were from maybe the middle of the year, and we're getting a little bit more 70-30.
Okay. And what have you generally been covering? Like, what are your thoughts? Well, what have you been covering on your live streams? Like, what'd you talk about today on your live stream?
Well, we didn't do it in a live stream today, but we did do one yesterday. Mostly just talking about the general sentiment. Right now we're facing extreme fear. We have likes we haven't seen since May, or maybe even as far back as April. 22 in extreme fear for the overall sentiment, both the stock market and crypto. Kind of just going through the ideas, the worries, the fears. Of course, we've got the BRICS nations still not really bowing down to Trump and trade, right? Orange man. We have the overall feel of the markets. The investors really are kind of in here. Everyone's jumping on gold. Gold's finally starting to see a pullback. We're kind of all over the place, really. Government shut down the 18th day. We got a lot of negative sentiment, right? There's some silver linings around the horizon, but until we get that government shutdown, regulation in America is not really going to get, finalized. We're not going to get the market structure bill. I guess they roll that into the Clarity Act now. The three bills together: anti-CBDC, the Market Clarity, the Clarity Act, and of course the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. It's also been kind of mixed too. We just got the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve. We just added 130,000 or something more to that. So putting us over 300,000 Bitcoin now on the balance sheet in America. If you believe those numbers, it's kind of a mixed bag, but mostly it's still negative. The ongoing crisis in America, the debt crisis, the oh my gosh, the possibility of another banking collapse coming, like we saw in the likes of 2023, which started the entire bull run to begin with, right? Those are starting to rear its ugly heads last week with the whole cockroach comment from Jamie Dimon. Oh my gosh, there's so much, guys. So much to cover. But yeah, the entire thing is wrapped up in a pretty chaotic bow, and that's what we're dealing with right now. And I'd say my followers are at least dealing with it more better than a lot of others. Again, I'm still kind of new, guys, so I feel like I'm playing with the big leagues now. But my followers are. I definitely tip my mask to them. They're doing pretty damn well. We've only had a few outliers this week that really kind of got out there and started breaking down. I should have voted for Kamala. Those things in the comments, crazy people like that. You guys know what I mean. We've only ever had a couple incidences in the last few weeks. So even all, I'd say I'm pretty proud of my community.
Yeah.
Well, today I had King Channing on. We were talking quant and Zebek connections. I think a couple days before that, Zebek had a space that I was talking about. The one today with Channing was really nice because quant, we got to see it from like the central bank over ledger type of view, whereas Zebek is from the retail customer kind of crypto on ramp payroll Zebek card type of view. So it really got to link the whole chain in that. Okay, once these stable coins, which a lot of the stable coins are linked to Zebek, Circle, RLUSD, Paxos USD, PayPal USD, etc., from the retail point going all the way up to the central banks and the overledger. It was a really, really good show. I think people got to learn a lot more about quant and what quant does. Um, you know, lately been talking a lot about XRP, Swift, and Linea. the whole the whole thing came out with Swift, where people were like pretty much feeling like, okay, well, Linear is it. Forget about XRP now. And I had to set people's kind of expectations and say, okay, well, maybe Linear is for the Ethereum and JP Morgan, but JP Morgan's only one bank, right? XRP is connecting all the central banks, guys. So don't feel like, oh well, Ripple's lost. now Linear is the thing. So I really kind of set their expectations on that.
Well, here's my thoughts on that. Is that I look at that like XRP, Linea, and so on, Swift, in the same kind of category as I look at layer ones and stuff like that in general, right? And is that the mindset of there can only be one is a fallacy in my opinion, right? To me, anyone who says, well, there's only going to be like one or two blockchains and then everything else is going to die and blah blah, erroneous, right? I look at it like this. That's like saying you got McDonald's, you got Burger King, and then no other restaurants anywhere else on the planet are going to exist because McDonald's and Burger King are one and two, right? There's not going to be a Wendy's or a Boston Pizza or a Pizza Hut or Subway or Montana's or whatever restaurant it is, Dunkin' Donuts, whatever it is, right? None of those places can exist because only Bitcoin and Ethereum exist, so no other layer ones or layer twos can exist, right? That's the way I look at that. That is a fallacy. It's a horrible way of thinking, and it's inaccurate in my opinion. But what are your guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that there's a problem. There's going to be a solution for it, and all we can do is sit in the sidelines and hope we're picking the winners. Choosing, of course, doing the best research we can to choose those winners. But like you said, I don't believe there's going to be just one to rule them all. I mean, other than Bitcoin.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you?
What would David Schwartz? We can kind of tell like there are definitely David Schwartz connections with Bitcoin, and he's the CEO of or was uh, high level on XRP, and retired. It's clear to me that XRP is going to serve the role it's going to serve with the central banks. If people aren't seeing that, and how all of these different cryptos are now saying, even the Charles Hoskinsons of Cardano connected themselves to XRP when they said they wouldn't, right? Um,
Yes.
XCN connected itself to XRP, XLR, all these different things. It's clear that XRP is the connector for all of these things. Yeah, it's obvious.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of that fat finger $300 trillion PayPal load up instead of 300 million? Was
Whoops.
that Paxos, right? That was Paxos, I believe. A stable coin.
Yeah. 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 They came close to actually getting into a lot of trouble. Wasn't the Democrats in the last cycle? They threatened to go after Paxos if they didn't stop minting BUSD, didn't they?
I didn't hear. Oh, you know what? Yes, I did hear that. Yes.
Yeah, Binance is stablecoin. That's why they had to get rid of their stablecoin, which is funny because I actually used BUSD a lot in the last cycle. I mean, really Binance a lot in the last cycle, but then Binance had to leave Canada because of stablecoin regulations. Go figure.
Crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what the story is with that because they never did give us any kind of an explanation. So Binance left Canada due to stablecoin regulations. Yet KuCoin and Coinbase and Crypto.com and Kraken and every other tier one exchange is operational in Canada with the same stablecoins. So what was the problem with Binance? I don't understand. They use the same stablecoins. It could have been
That's
because of BUSD, because then BUSD's gone. So then you'd figure Binance would come back to the market.
that's hilarious. And the fact that BUSD was backed by Paxos, and Paxos backs PayPal USD, which is
Yes.
completely fine in the US. How do you even how do you reckon these things? How do you justify them? I don't even know.
Unbelievable. Jared with the super chat, he says the best three names in crypto all on the same channel. Winning. Hulkamania's running wild, brother. What can we say?
Oh yeah.
Um, so I want to start with you, Rue. Um, what are your thoughts on this cycle right now in regards to putting whether either it's putting people's fears at ease or stoking the flames of paranoia on whether this bull run has ended, has topped? Is there going to be an altcoin season? And when do you think? Obviously, no one has a crystal ball, but what's your theory on it?
My theory would be coming up here, the beginning of the year would be a really good time for the altcoin season to really take off. I don't think we've kind of seen the true impact of ISO taking effect. Of course, we haven't seen it go live for the rest of the world, which is 11/22. But even after that, I think there will be a little bit of more time. We know towards the end of the year, people reorganize their portfolios. So come January, February, and March, maybe we can have things go really rocking. Like we are kind of talking about a little bit backstage with Otaku, the Clarity Act. Once that gets enforced, I think things can be really rocking. So Clarity Act, along with ISO going live for the rest of the realm, the world there, I think we could see things go bananas. Also, as I mentioned earlier with the crypto ETFs, we saw what the ETFs did for Bitcoin. Now imagine that for all their ISOs and ISO adjacent cryptos like a XDC, HBAR, you know, Algorand, you name it, then I think we see those prices really, really kick up in 2026.
So, where do you think the top for Bitcoin is in terms of price? What's your theory on that?
Ooh, that's a good question. Um, you know what? I never thought about that, but I know a lot of people were saying like 250. That could be pretty interesting. Saying that like the Clarity Act passes and a lot of different states as well as the federally want like Bitcoin reserves. I think that could be pretty interesting, but I also think a lot of companies and states might opt to go in a different direction than Bitcoin and say, wait, well, okay, well, stronghold, or say some state like Nebraska might say, well, we want a Telcoin reserve or something like that. Um, so I could see some states saying, okay, instead of Bitcoin, we're going to go with something else. So I don't know. I say conservatively 250, maybe 250 next year.
And yeah, like keep in mind, everybody watching, it's just best guess, educated guess, right? I mean, we're not going to hold your Rue's feet to the fire. Otaku, same question, buddy.
Yeah. Oh man, that's a loaded question. So yeah, into the future with Bitcoin in terms of price, what I think is going to happen towards the end of the year, with crypto assets. I've been stuck on this mindset the entire year that since we didn't get that March April rally, right, that we were going to basically continue onward. And it would be just hilarious if we saw an entire sell-off at the end of the year, and around our Christmas holiday season time, right? And then we roll that into next year, selling off everyone gets shaken out, and of course the institutions come in and pick everything up. Regulation right now is pointing in that direction as well. It's almost like everything has been put on the table for that just to all line up, all for the institutions next year. So I'm still stuck in that mindset that that's probably what's going to occur. And if that's the case, a lot of us holding these bags since the beginning of the year, if you guys haven't changed anything, you won't have to pay taxes on all this stuff, right? So I'm not actually not looking to sell anything if we are in these ranges towards the end of the year. That's the kind of mindset right now. Again, like you said, no one has a crystal ball. We don't know where we're going. I have the closest thing I have is a moonstone, but I think it's going to do pretty well. I think either way, you don't want to fade crypto. I think once all the fear is done, gold could possibly top out towards the end of the year. I don't think it's quite as close. I mean, we're damn near, got to be close to a big pullback. Closer to get to 5,000 on gold. There's just it's just such a fear-driven market right now. That's just what I see.
Ooh, I got a
We're,
question for both of you guys.
go ahead.
I heard Jake Craver say this, and I saw Smoke make some posts on X about this. Do you really think that Tether is gonna be like the unwinding of the market?
No, I don't personally. I think that is a red herring argument that's been hopping around for 5, 6 years now in the market. This like scary wives' tale that's that Tether's going to collapse and crash the markets. And here's what I think: if Tether was ever to go under, I think that it would happen in a way, especially with stablecoin regulations coming in. I think that it would happen in a way that, and it's already kind of started, to be honest with you. Circle has very, very aggressively began taking market share away from Tether as time has continued to go on here, as we know that Circle is the chosen stablecoin company for the U.S. government, right? So I do see us slowly transitioning to Circle being the bigger lion's share of stablecoin moving forward. In saying that, Tether has also, as we know, started the issuance, or they're going to be starting the issuance of a stablecoin in the United States,
Yep.
which begs the question: why would you need to, if USDT was backed 1-to-1? Why would you need a separate stablecoin for one country that's going to hold you accountable to regulations? So I think
See,
that in itself prevents Tether from going under, because they're going to have a compliant coin in the United States, and other countries probably just won't care enough to hold them accountable. But that's my 2 cents on it.
now see, I think that that other coin almost gives them a reason to say, well, this one's compliant, and let's just dump that one. Let's just let that one just go to all hell. Let's just put all the debt and nasty that we need to put in that and just sink it.
So you think it's their way of transitioning from being non-solvent and not proving it to slowly transitioning to this solvent one over here that they are backing 1-to-1 over time, which prevents them from ever having to prove that Tether was never solvent to begin with. Is that kind of
Yeah,
what you're saying here?
it's like the mafia thing,
Yep.
like that. It's the legit business. They got the
Yep.
legit, the legit audited USA coin, and this one over here, we can just, whatever, whoever needs to put something bad in it, we're gonna get rid of it. We're gonna sink it anyway. You know,
Yeah.
um, that's kind of what I'm thinking there. Because Trump thanked them. Like I thought it was really, and I think this was even before they had the Tether USA. Trump thanked them in a speech,
Yeah.
and then next thing we know, his like big committee member that he elected, Bo Hines, becomes the leader of Tether
Yep.
USD or USAT. So
Well,
I'm gonna
don't forget 21 Capital too. I mean, we have Citibank, or no, Standard Charter, and Jack Mahler is investing with Tether for a Bitcoin treasury company. That's been
Yep.
going on since the summer.
So I want Otaku's thoughts on this as well, but I just wanted to thank Andra 101. Absolutely, thank you so much for the super chat. All right, Otaku, what's your thoughts on it? Tether going under, collapsing.
I don't see it. I just don't see it. I know there's been a lot of speculation on it. I think they've cleaned themselves up pretty well away from all of that. $180 billion right now. They're trying to make amends with America in regards to its regulations, stablecoin bill, and everything else, pushing itself into the forefront. I think they can't be ignored. They're still going to be relevant in the future to come. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got.
Where do you never gave me an answer as to where you think Bitcoin will top? What's your thesis? Like how high do you think it's going to go?
um, So that depends on things that actually occur before the end of the year. Are we going to get market structure bill? Um, at this point, if we do not end the government shutdown before the end of next month, no, we're not going to get it this year. So maybe Bitcoin's going to stop pretty low this year. Maybe we only get a rally to 150 this year, maybe 145, right? 144. Those are kind of the key targets we're looking at right now, right? But if we actually start with, we get everything, we get all the stars aligned towards the end of the year, maybe we do see a 200,000. Next year is going to be what we're really looking at, right? Realistically, if all the governments around the world are pushing gold rush into Bitcoin, and every state is opening arms, opening the doors to Bitcoin purchases, like Ohio did. I don't know if you guys remember Ohio. $500 purchases and under are tax exempt in the state of Ohio. That went into effect a few months ago. If we have more of that pro crypto regulation in the states, especially around Bitcoin, it's all welcome in open arms, and institutions are all gobbling it up. And we maybe make our first $100,000 purchase on our 100,000 Bitcoin purchase on Bitcoin. Maybe next year we'll see like the likes of 400,000 or 500. Who knows? Maybe we start to rip, and we start with the 5-year cycle, maybe using that into a forever cycle, extended cycle. Maybe we just don't do cycles anymore. What's really surprised me over this year is the amount of Bitcoin that both BlackRock is accumulating and Strategy in particular has already accumulated like 180,000 Bitcoin this year or something like that. And we can only produce 165 current or 163, whatever it is, a year with the current halving, elements. So that's kind of where we're at. We're I think we're leaving the whole entire halving cycle, 4-year cycle behind, going into just natural business cycles. And I mean, we have so many things ahead of us. Like, what happens if we do see a actual real recession here in the United States? It would probably be more like a depression, realistically. And I think the last thing on people's minds is going to be picking up digital assets. It's going to be feeding their
Yeah,
children.
I have a couple thoughts on that. For me, I think that the top for this cycle, whenever it's going to end, is about 150 to 200,000 tops for me for Bitcoin. And I've had people tell me that that's bearish and it's not high enough and stuff. However, I'm sure you guys, remember the last cycle and everyone calling for $200,000 Bitcoin and higher in 2022 and stuff like that. And what people tend to, I lean heavily on recency bias. Too many people rely on recency bias for their projections, for their hopes, their ambitions. And so whenever I say I wouldn't be shocked if Bitcoin topped at, let's say, $180,000, $160,000 for this cycle, that's not bearish, because for those of us that were here at the beginning of this cycle, at the bottom, at the end of like 2022, we were buying Bitcoin at $15,000,
Yep.
Yep.
right?
Yep.
$15,000 to even just 150 is not a bearish ROI for a cycle, right? The only people who feel that it's bearish are buying Bitcoin at $107,000, saying 150 is too low, right? And it's the same thing from the 2021 cycle. What was the bottom? Was it $3,000 in the 2021 cycle at the bottom of that bear market? So like 2018, 2019, what was the bottom for that? Like, was it like $3,000, $4,000 for Bitcoin?
I think so. I think
Yeah, I think
so.
you're right.
So it was the same thing, right? It went from like $3,000 to $69,000. People were calling for minimum $100,000, right? Didn't happen, and they felt that that was bearish. But really, 3,000 to 69,000 per coin, that's not bearish, right?
Yeah, because it went like 3,000 to like 15 or 16, and then it was on its way to go like super high, and Rona just halted everything. And then after Rona, 60 something, 69, like you said, 67, 67.
Mhm.
And then before the halving, it went to 70. And then before this last halving, it went to 70. And then after, it went to one, what, 26, and
Yeah,
where we're at right now.
107.
Yeah.
107. Yeah. See, what I've noticed though, as we go along here, is that I mean, last cycle, you're absolutely right. Looking back, a lot of people point to Rona, and they say that Bitcoin would have went way higher if it wasn't for that whole pandemic situation in the last cycle. That kind of hindered, right, ROI. This time around, people are saying, well, Trump and tariffs, right? So it seems like every cycle there's going to be something that people use as an excuse as to why Bitcoin didn't go as high as they expected it to go. At what point do we just look at it and say, maybe we're just over projecting how high it can go per cycle, and $3,000 to $69,000 is perfectly reasonable. $15,000 to $180,000 is perfectly reasonable, right? And it's not underperforming due to macroeconomic factors. That's just the average performance.
Hot take, I think at some point XRP's market cap passes Bitcoin's at some point.
Ooh, hot take. There it is.
I mean, it has to get to that point if it's going to get to $1,000.
Well, yeah, people have often asked me if I think Bitcoin will always be the number one crypto, right? And my answer is always no. In my lifetime, yes. It will always be in my lifetime, I believe. I could, so as I guess I'm disagreeing with you, but I'm not disagreeing with you because I think that XRP could, but I'll probably be dead when it does.
Yeah, the real question
Oh,
is how long does humanity, wait until they get exhausted and just chasing one asset?
Well,
well, I'm
here's
hoping I'm right, but I'm also hoping, not wishing for your death, Rob. So, so let's meet somewhere in the middle here.
Oh man.
But here's the thing. I believe that right now we are not in a utility-driven asset class. I've made my thesis on that, clear on the channel. We're not in a utility-driven asset class right now, right? However, every cycle that goes by, I believe we get closer and closer to that becoming a reality, as especially now it's being fast tracked with adoption of utility cryptos like Solana, Ethereum, XRP, right? Um, I mean, my buddy Caesar, right, gets crypto. He was talking yesterday. I was watching one of his videos. And he made a good point. He's talking like somebody had said to him, "Look, we're going to get to a point in the future where people are using crypto technology and blockchain technology, and they don't even realize it, right?" And he said, well, "That day's right now
Yep.
because Visa uses their own blockchain, right, to for transactions. So you are right now, if you use your Visa debit card, whatever the case might be, you're already using blockchain technology and you didn't even know it." So shout out to Caesar for that take, because it's not my take, it's his. But he brought up a very, very good point. So the point is that I do believe we are moving closer and closer to utility driven cycles. But we need to see a couple other things take place before that's a reality as well. We need to see some sort of degree of separation between meme coins and utility projects, or utility projects and the rest of crypto, however you want to word it, right? I think that like anyone who thinks meme coins as an asset class are going anywhere, you're crazy. You're crazy, right?
I mean, okay, there's some exceptions to that. I mean, like with meme core, if we do see like the integration of like, and I'm not endorsing anything. I don't own a single meme coin to be honest with you, but but like meme core wants to like integrate social media with memes.
Yep.
At some point, we may see something like that, right? But I agree 100% with you. That's not what this asset class is made for. It's not what we're waiting for. We're waiting
No,
for the institutional demand, and we're waiting for the money to get cheap again with more rate
but
cuts in the United States.
yeah, but at the same time, the point is that again, like I was saying, anyone who thinks meme coins are going anywhere is crazy, right? They are here to stay. Period. and that's just it. I'd like to take a second here to introduce my guy, Believes Crypto. What's going
Hey.
on, bud?
What's going on, everybody? First of all, if you don't own meme coins, you're gay.
I love it.
So there's that.
How you
I wish I had
doing,
my
bud?
buttons. Damn you.
What's going on?
How's it
everybody?
going? How's it going, Believes?
Living the dream. Went out for dinner with the family. It was my sister-in-law's birthday, and the guy at the restaurant was the slowest fucking waiter I've ever had in my life.
No tip for you, eh?
No, they give automatic tips. It was a hibachi place.
Oh, one of those.
Oh, jeez.
I was
so just kind of throw it in there, and you're gonna pay it.
we just kind of finished talking with Rue here and Otaku. By the way, introduce you guys, please, about where they felt the cycle was, all the panic and everything. I know where you stand, Believes. I was watching your live stream yesterday about kind of your position on things, but for the audience, what's your position on it? What's your community kind of been feeling, and where do you believe it's going?
So the market cycle is about to go ever higher because anybody, I mean, look, if you got a brain and you pay attention to market cycles and you pay attention to money flow, then you understand that all we're doing is going through a dip that was exacerbated by Wintermute selling off all of their assets in just a flash sale. And it'll be a few more days because, once you get something like that, that is a black swan event. So you had your black swan, but also you had black swans before every major up move in every single cycle. And you see it repeat itself over and over again. Bitcoin hasn't fallen out of its channel. The overall crypto market hasn't fallen out of its channel. If you're holding on to altcoins and you're wondering why they're falling out of their channel, because they're fucking altcoins. And almost every altcoin one day is going to zero, except maybe Ethereum, maybe XRP, maybe Solana. I mean, other than that, the fuck are we doing? So we're about to go so much higher. Matter of fact, money flow tells me that we're probably going to about a $5 trillion market cap.
When do you, just out of curiosity, again, we're not going to hold, we don't hold anybody's feet to the fire, but I guess, do you think that the cycle's going into next year?
Well, so, I mean, the question for that would be, if I'm a grifter, piece of shit, low life scum. I'm sorry, what I meant to say was an American institutional investor. My bad.
There you go.
That's what I meant to say. If I were an American institutional investor, then what am I trying to do? What's my goal? My goal is to trap as many people into losing trades as I possibly can so that I am in a winning trade. So what am I going to do? I control the news. I control the media. All I have to do right now is remind people, hey, you're getting taxes back pretty soon. Boy, it sure would be nice if some of those meme coins were pumping right around February or March. So what you're going to see is you're going to see something, and I'm not sure. I mean, obviously it's not going to be Wintermute this time, but there's going to be a market maker out there or a couple of market makers out there that really sink their teeth into some crazy narrative-driven cryptos, meme coins. And people are going to be like, oh, shit. And the next thing you know, your tax money is going to get thrown in there. So I think it's going to probably last until May. I would like to say June, but I feel like sell in May and walk away is going to be the more important narrative there. So sometime at the beginning of May is probably where we see the end of the market cycle.
For Bitcoin or for alts?
Bitcoin is different than for altcoins. I mean, the altcoin blow up will happen between now and then. We might even get 2 double tops or something like that, like we did last time. But we're not going to get. I don't know that Bitcoin goes through the same cycle. Like if you're a gambler, right? So far, you've been able to predict the top and the bottom of Bitcoin relatively using the golden ratio with Fibonacci. I don't think it comes down and does that again. I don't think that you're going to get $70,000 Bitcoin ever again. And if you do, it's going to be in the next couple of days on some kind of crazy additional black swan. If it consolidates and it continues to consolidate above 100,000 and we can't break down below 100,000, when we get to the market blow off, you got to understand, if we do 171,000, a Bitcoin Fibonacci retracement down to, that would be 90,000 maybe. We would get to about 85 or 90,000. We won't see that 70,000, even if we have a strong wick driving. Like, we may not be seeing the same sort of drawdowns that we saw before. We could see a 50% drawdown instead of 65 to 85%.
Yeah, I saw an article this morning talking about a $92,000 Bitcoin. I was like, oh, it's a little far for me. I don't know. A 98 maybe, but 92 is starting to get down there, right?
103.3 was the futures gap, and it just got filled. So,
yep.
Yeah. I was talking, I did a video earlier today talking about the sentiment in the market, and you're seeing those articles come out. When you see, those kind of articles calling for, a $92,000 Bitcoin and below, usually for me, it signals a local bottom. And you combine that with, people saying, well, crypto topped. Okay, well, let's look at gold right now, right? What do you see? You see yesterday people lined up outside of coin stores and stuff like that globally, wanting to buy as much gold as they possibly can. You see gold has been going nuts this whole year. There's euphoria around it. Everyone wants it. Everyone's buying it. Everyone's talking about it. So what that shows me is retail right now is pouring into gold at the top.
Which is
right?
crazy.
That's usually a top indicator. Yeah.
Yeah, you have not seen that sort of sentiment around crypto yet. So that tells me that crypto hasn't topped, right? We know from the 2021 cycle.
Yeah, not even close.
Yeah, and you see these people calling for we're going down into a confirmation, we're going into a bear market. I'm like, not a single metric, not a single indicator for the top of this bull cycle has gone off yet. Not one.
You know what? Altcoin season flashed for 7 days. And then we had Bitcoin dominance flash in September for a couple of days. And other than that, there's been absolutely nothing. I mean, you're going to want, before you start saying that it's going to be over, you probably want to see at least 8 or so of these indicators get consistently hit all at once or in the same sort of reasonable time frame. And the fact that the only thing that you're seeing right now is a little bit of a pump in altcoins really just means that the market is not done. The market is just consolidating. While it's consolidating, the money that's being made in Bitcoin, there's a lot of money being made in Bitcoin. The money being made in Bitcoin is starting to get layered in to these lower meme coins or altcoins. And the reason that you're not seeing it is because people like Wintermute, I mean, you guys saw what Wintermute did. They sold off. They put $1 billion into Binance hours before the Trump announcement. They were doing this no matter what. The fact that Trump made the announcement that, I hate China, stop eating Chinese food, or whatever the fuck he said. Whatever dumb shit he started spitting out was not the factor that moved the market. That was just the cover. That's how we know manipulation is still the rule and the order of the day. So Wintermute then sells everything. And by the way, look at the candles and go to half-hour candles. Look how quickly everything dropped in a half hour and got bought back up like crazy in a half hour. The only way that happens is if Wintermute is dumping high and then buying low, and they're just repumping their own bags back up as they re-enter. And I know that they're doing it. Like, the reason that you couldn't trade on Coinbase, Binance went down for a little while. The reason was because they were using an AI algorithm to do micro sells. Like, they were just sell. They were filling the order books to levels it had not seen. And they were doing it so rapidly that people didn't even know what was going on. They're just like, oh my God, look at this candle. And they're freaking out. And then everything just got kind of triggered and people got trapped. And I mean, what is $750 million? I think Binance has paid so far to people because of this kind of shit. And it's not Binance's fault. And Binance should be doing this. But I mean, at the end of the day, Wintermute it is my belief, and you wouldn't be able to convince me otherwise. I'm not a conspiracy guy, but I can tell you this. If I were a conspiracy guy, this would be a conspiracy. And the conspiracy would be that China was directing Wintermute to dump the crypto assets to send a message to the president of the United States that he is not as in control of the finance markets as he thinks. Because at the same time, we're also hearing underlying stories about so many different crypto or so many different leaks that are coming out of China right now, saying that China's looking to sell off on the American market, that China's looking to dump some of the real estate in the American market. China's looking to tank the American market so that they can prove a point to Donald Trump and force his hand to do something that he may or may not want to do. So it stands to reason. They stepped in, Wintermute complied, and it just so happened that Donald Trump had made that tweet at the same time. So it all looked like a nice little, it all looked like it was tied up in a nice little bow. But if you go back to the time frame, look at Trump's tweet, the market didn't move. People were even questioning, why is nothing moving? What is going on? You know what I mean? And the next thing you know, out of nowhere, it just drops.
Yeah.
So it was just Wintermute was setting everything up, getting everything ready. And then because I do not respect crypto news, much less any other news. I don't respect CNN, Fox News, none of these guys. They're all a bunch of liars that do whatever they can to try to hook you and get you engaged. They're all run by billionaires whose job it is to get us fighting with each other, because if we fight each other, we stay away from their money. I mean, that's the way I see it. So all of this stuff is going on, and it just gets recycled and reused over and over again. So next thing you know, everybody's talking about Trump says this and it dumps the market. And I'm looking at it like, are you fucking retarded? Did you not out? How did you come up with this? Like you paid somebody money to write this bullshit. You know what I mean? Like you can't track this stuff yourself. It's so weird.
Well, you're right. They own these news networks, so they have them put out those pieces because general retail or dumb money, however you want to word them, name them. They don't go onto the blockchain. They don't check out that Wintermute just dumped on the market, cascading all of these panic sales, and then they bought back in at the bottom, right? But general retail doesn't look at that stuff. They just see a news article and say, "Oh, it's Trump's fault." Right? Because he tweeted this out. That's it. That must be what happened. Otaku, what's your theory on?
Wait a minute. I'm busy going out here and being no kings today.
Yes, that's the current narrative. I am not a king, says Trump. Yeah, I mean, it's all smoke and mirrors. There's always a man behind the curtain. And yeah, Trump is definitely just the one they're pointing the blame on. But I mean, there's always more happening behind the curtain, like you said. I don't know the details in the Wintermute thing, so I can't speak on that. But I know that these trade tensions with China, what we hear about, what's actually being said behind the scenes, the whole Scott Bessent, trust me, bro. That's what I call it anyway. It's not happening. I think the BRICS nations are definitely putting up a fight. And we're never going to get any of that real news here in the United States.
There were also rumors of President Xi Jinping stroke at that time too, for like the seventh time that he had a stroke, and that was also what caused it.
What?
Right.
That was new to me. That's breaking news.
Yeah. Because one of my friends, he's like, "Oh, I heard the Chinese president had a stroke. XRP's cut in half. What happened?"
A magic stroke. It crashed XRP.
Literally.
Well, here's the thing. To me, it's very simple. And for those of you that don't know, you should have heard it by my jokes and everything by now. But I'm not a fan of Donald Trump. But I am a big fan of the tariffs. And I'm a big fan of the way that he's handling what's going on in this economy, even if it's not perfect. You're not going to win everything. The whole idea here is you've got to put America in a proportionately advantageous position. And we have not done that, whether you've been a Republican or a Democrat, in 50 years. We've not put America first at all. Okay.
Yep.
We've talked about it. We've pretended that we did it. And in fact, in the 90s, it probably was the best move in our society to outsource jobs to Mexico, to Taiwan, to China, to try to keep our goods and services inexpensive. But at no point did anybody come back in and say, wait a minute, we've got to keep building something here because the jobs are going to go away. And we don't have anybody who's been forward thinking enough. So that leaves Donald Trump to come out here and look like an asshole, because what he's doing is throwing out these tariffs, which suddenly we're going to pay for, but he's going to lie to you and say, no, they're going to pay for it. They're paying for it. You got to know that they're paying for it, guys, because we wouldn't pay for it ourselves. That would be stupid. Like, and he's got people believing that and saying that shit. Like, you know, you're using words and people can hear you when you say this dumb shit, right? Nope, they don't know. They're in a bubble. They're in this weird sort of bubble. And here's the thing: if you're still conservative, so what? The tariffs are still a good thing, even if you're being lied to. You know what I mean? Like that's the important part. Is the tariffs are going to make it better for. But maybe you're not going to sell soybeans, but we're going to sell a bunch of fucking potatoes. Idaho's going to be just fine. Wyoming's going to sell a whole bunch of cattle. Like we're going to find buyers overseas, buyers that we currently don't have, because the tariffs have been ineffective in our for us. So, you know, to see all of that kind of stuff start to play itself out is going to be great for the economy. Gas prices. I don't know if you guys have been out looking at gas prices, but gas prices are down about 60 cents in the last month. So everything is starting to come together. And once people have a tiny bit more money in their pocket, where are they going to put it? Are they going to put it in gold? No, because gold's at the top. And the only people that are buying gold right now are dingbats and Peter Schiff. You know what I'm saying? Like, only fucking morons are buying $4,300 gold. You know what I mean? And I mean, listen, Peter Schiff has been wrong for 14 years now about Bitcoin. So, you know, the fact that he's got himself a 60-day window of winning, nice. Good job, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
And he won a possible 2x, where Bitcoin is like what, 14x?
Yep. It's crazy. That dude is out of his goddamn mind.
It's funny. I actually asked I asked Grok about 2 weeks ago, because Jamie Dimon had come out with more fun about Bitcoin. So I asked Grok, how many times over the last 6 years has Jamie Dimon been wrong about his calls on crypto in general? Grok even said, he's been wrong so many times I can't calculate. Right?
So Jamie Dimon is purposely, the thing that people don't understand is Jamie Dimon is purposely wrong, though. And the reason for that is because Jamie Dimon has the ear of the biggest investors in the world. That is the biggest bank in the world. He has the eyes and ears of the biggest investors in the world. He doesn't tell them. Well, as a matter of fact, let me rephrase that. His agents, the people that work for him, they tell their investors something different. What he says out loud moves markets. So he says things to move markets. When he says Bitcoin has no value and people start to dump a little bit of Bitcoin, guess what? They start buying a little bit. And when he does that to everything, that's what ends up happening.
Well, I remember the infamous Pet Rock comments he made a couple of years ago. Was it 2022, 2023 he said that?
22 or 23, yeah. And if you would have bought Bitcoin in 2023 for like $3,000, if you would have thrown like $3,000
8x
into
right
Bitcoin,
now.
you I mean, you'd be like a difference of like 50% to 500% since the beginning of 23.
Well, I think it was the same weekend or week that he was on national television calling Bitcoin a pet rock for the first time. JP Morgan had actually, I think, tripled their digital asset department. The same week he was on television saying, "Don't buy this."
Yep.
While they were building Onyx.
Right.
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And see, that's the part to me is like, what if he's not all wrong? What if he's saying, okay, blockchain has value, the blockchain that we're making and that we're working with, but not Bitcoin.
Yeah, but Onyx is copy and paste Ethereum.
Yeah. I was just
I
going to
mean,
say that.
it's a copy and paste of Ethereum.
Right.
So
So
they're not
maybe
doing
he's
anything.
saying, okay, because he basically said, okay, Bitcoin has no value, but we've been working with blockchain for years, which Ethereum, right? So maybe he's not completely wrong.
If he said tomorrow, guys, everything is going to zero that's not named Bitcoin, Ethereum, or something like that, then I would say, yeah, he's actually being honest about it. Every meme coin will eventually go to zero. Most altcoins will eventually go to zero. Everything that we're doing right now, I think, matter of fact, one of the most prescient things that I heard anybody say was Mark Cuban, who I'm not an admirer of, but I mean, the guy's he's a billionaire. He made his money. He played his game and he played it well. And what he said was, go look around. How many blockchains do you think we need? I mean, and if you just consider a couple of pieces, Ethereum is already ubiquitous out here. We already talk about Ethereum everywhere. It's being used all over the place. Avalanche, you can create your own coin, not token. On Avalanche, you can create your own coin on the layer 1 stack to run whatever you want to do with your crypto. Then you have Solana, which is basically the gambler's paradise. And then beyond that, what do you need? You've
I like
got
the way you worded that.
everything you need with like 3 or 4. You need a payment service provider. So you have XRP as a payment service provider, and then you have to have, if not competition, you have to have the illusion of competition, like we do in America. Our food supply is controlled by 3 companies. I mean, don't think for a second that crypto is not going to be controlled by 3 companies. We're going to have the illusion of choice. So it's going to be Ethereum, and it's going to be Solana, and they might be owned by the same people at some point. And by the way, remember one thing about crypto that most people overlook, that I never overlook, I've been talking about it for 3 years now, is we haven't gone through mergers and acquisitions yet. Like the only huge merger and acquisition that we saw was Fetch becoming the artificial intelligence network, or whatever the fuck they call it now. That's
Crash and
Yes,
burn.
the Artificial Superintelligence Alliance. Yes,
Yeah, that's the only real M&A that we've seen so far. Imagine when some of these layer 2s are disappearing, and they become just rolled into Ethereum to make Ethereum more efficient. And then Ethereum does the same thing with its layer 1 stack that Avalanche is doing, and you can just create your own coin there instead of a token. Imagine as we develop and some of these things start to happen, the landscape of crypto is going to look vastly different than what we see right now.
Yeah, I've touched on before how mergers and acquisitions is coming in as well around the time, like you said, FET took place. And I said that people who come from traditional finance and like the stock market and stuff, it's not really going to shake them to see mergers and acquisitions start to take place in crypto. But new degenerate people who are just getting into crypto and know nothing about mergers, there's going to be panic in the streets when you hear about, I don't know, Ripple buying, X project or whatever, and people are going to panic because I'm going to sell all this because it's getting bought. But when really it's just a part of it's a good part of the evolution of the industry.
Yeah. Well, you're also going to see a lot of. I've been saying this for the same amount of time. You're going to be very soon, and there wasn't. I was wrong in a slight context, because I said that by the end of this next cycle, you're going to be buying your crypto from Bank of America, or you're going to be buying it from JP Morgan. It's going to be in your app, and you're just going to pull up your phone and you'll be able to buy crypto through your app through a little tab on there. However, the good thing, at least, and by the way, I don't like Coinbase, but the good thing about Coinbase and crypto.com is they've already filed for banking licenses. So now you're going to see they're going to enter the banking arena. So you're going to have your credit cards are going to, like, you're almost, we're literally almost at a fully digitized society. We are this close to really being able to take off, where I don't have to cash anything out anymore. I just have to move it to Coinbase or crypto.com and put it on my credit card, and it's there. So we are very, very close to a paradigm shift in the way that we do business. And Cryptic Jared says, need lending and borrowing though. Well, that's available through Pendle. That's available through Aave. That's available through
there's so
Arrow.
many,
There's plenty of borrowers and lenders in the crypto spaces that will simply get integrated. And of course, if you're using Coinbase, your lender of preference and your borrower of preference is going to be Arrow. I mean, it's already built into the base chain. So, all of the pieces for all of this kind of stuff, it's already there. It just hasn't been, Arrow eventually gets bought by Coinbase. Pretty simple. Aave eventually gets bought by Ethereum or whoever takes over Ethereum at some point. They want to keep it decentralized, but you're probably not going to be able to forever. So
crypto.com, they bought a bank. So, and Robinhood, they bought Bitstamp. So, so we're rapidly heading there.
I thought Coinbase bought Bitstamp.
No, it was Robinhood.
Robinhood? All right. And by the way, Bitstamp is one of the largest leverage trading companies that there are. That was one of the biggest leverage organizations that they are. So now Robinhood has leverage. So yeah, I mean, all of these things are going to start coming together and becoming something way more than they currently are. And that's going to be when the real money gets made.
Well, and I think that that's the final push that general non-tech savvy retail investors need for us to see real, true mass adoption in crypto is exactly what you just touched on, Bleaves, is that when you can just go to your bank or on your bank app and you can just buy some XRP or whatever it is, right at your bank, that's really, there's so many potential investors out there, the masses probably, that just aren't in crypto because they don't understand how to buy it. They don't want to build an account or hold a wallet or self-custody, whatever the case might be.
One of the biggest.
I think JP Morgan's really close to doing that right now with their stablecoin. They're integrating.
One of the biggest catalysts that nobody's talking about right now is that there are now, of course, we can't do anything because the government shut down. But when the government comes back up and we're back online, if you will, then one of the laws that's going to pass, or one of the bills that will pass pretty soon, is going to be allowing crypto and Bitcoin specifically to be used as collateral for buying homes. That is a gigantic move in this industry. So there's so much stuff that's in the pipeline that's coming very, very soon. And by the way, for anybody who's wondering why altcoin season hasn't happened yet, there's two words: Clarity Act. That's the reason that it hasn't happened yet.
So you think we're going to get that in rather short order once the government gets back back to work?
It's difficult to say. Hopefully, if you can do it with 51 votes in the Senate, yes. If it needs 60, like a continuing resolution does, then no, because the ask for Democrats was stupid. Was like what they asked for was basically a ban on DeFi. Yeah. So they're not serious. So if Democrats are not going to be serious and they're not going to negotiate from a position of good faith, then it's very difficult for crypto to move on. And listen, I can't even imagine in my life being like, yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene's right, but I've said that like 4 times in the last week. Like, what the fuck is going on in the world?
Everything's upside down. Yeah, absolutely. I tell you, man, I've been getting absolutely roasted over the last 2 or 3 days about, people get angry when you tell them that the cycle's not over because they're emotional and, but what if you're wrong? What if you're wrong? Yeah. And, take a shit in one hand and put your want in the other and tell me which one fills up first, right? I mean, it's an inevitability for me. It's not an if, it's a when.
Right. Yeah, even when Bitcoin was hitting all-time highs just a few weeks ago, we still had nowhere near the top of all these coins since January. Nowhere near.
Yep. Another thing I was talking about in terms of, because another question we're getting nailed with is, well, how do you know? From people who are new in crypto, this is their first cycle, they say, yeah, but why? Why is retail going to come in? Like, how do you know retail's going to come in and we're going to see this blow off top and stuff? Well, again, I point to gold. Look at gold right now. What is retail doing? They're standing outside the gold shops, right? Because that's how
gold
people.
Has a $30 trillion market cap right now.
Yep.
People are going to people.
Well, I think institutions are coming in with those crypto ETFs, and that's the real money. That's the real diamond hand money and that's what's really going to send things, in my opinion.
Do you guys think that the fact I was covering a piece this morning in the live stream about how people who have been trying to get around about buying strategy and Bitmine and Metaplanet and stuff like that stock as opposed to buying crypto, and now they're at a loss? Do you guys think that that's going to hinder or crypto's progress moving forward in the short term, in the immediate term? Like, is it going to kind of hinder us and slow down this cycle in any way, shape, or form with these companies now struggling for profits for their shareholders?
I doubt it. I think we're gonna have like these like mini micro strategy or mini strategy companies like Bitmines, like the Ethereum one, strategies the Bitcoin one, maybe Vivo Power will be the XRP one, and maybe we have another company that's like the Solana one. That's my thought.
You were going to say something, please? What are your thoughts?
Oh, so basically, what was the question again? Because I was looking at, I was trying to give you the name of a company, Oros Capital, by the way. When Oros Capital and Wintermute get back into meme coins, because I wanted to make sure I knew both of them. When they get back into meme coins, then this market will send. That was going to be the point, but it won't happen until after that clarity.
Yeah. No, I was just wondering your guys' thoughts on these shareholders, so many shareholders for companies like Strategy and Bitmine and Metaplanet, who are putting crypto on their balance sheets, are at a loss right now. Sure, if that's going to kind of flood crypto or kind of slow down our progression of this altcoin season or this blow off top,
So
or we can see selling pressure basically.
Strategy at some point is going to have a lot of bills come due because they have borrowed a lot of money to continue to buy Bitcoin. So at some point, there has to be a profit motive. And there also has to be an understanding fundamentally that Michael Saylor has about market cycles. He understands them as much as anybody else. The reason that he's not showing you his wallets is because he wants the ability to do something about it. Like, he wants the ability to take and sell 100,000 Bitcoin at $170,000 so that he can then buy it up in a year at 90,000 and have twice as much. Like, there is a long-term strategy that will involve selling. So these guys are not going to hold forever. The people that would hold forever most likely are going to be people like Nayib Bukele, Donald Trump and the United States government. China might even end up being in part of it. Russia will probably get in on the act. Europe has been very difficult so far, but part of that has to be there's been kind of a liberal parade in Europe for quite a few years, and it seems to be ending, and people are going back to a different set of core values. You've kind of been seeing a little flip here. People are they're not huge fans of immigrants coming in everywhere and becoming a refuge center for so many different people that have been misplaced. They haven't done a very good job, and that usually means that there's going to be a political tone and shift, and that political tone and shift is going to create an opportunity here where somebody's going to step in, a right-wing person most likely, and by the way, not even right-wing, but libertarian. And a libertarian is going to step into leadership in a lot of these countries, and they're going to be like, oh shit, we need to buy Bitcoin too. And you're going to start to see city-states and nation-states buying up Bitcoin to the point that you're going to be wondering, like, what the fuck? So that people are going to be incentivized to figure out the next Bitcoin, which would probably be Ethereum, but they're going to have to start figuring it out because they're going to have missed. So those city-states, those nations, those people will probably hold for a long period of time. Everybody else, it's going to be transactional at some point.
Yeah, I've been roasted a few times over the last 2 years about me saying that at some point Michael Saylor and Strategy will definitely be taking profits and selling. And people, well, no, they're never going to sell because Michael Saylor said they're never going to. He says never sell your Bitcoin. Well, listen,
Yeah.
here's the thing. Very quickly, you're going to find that his tone is going to change to, in his interview, saying Well, I mean, our strategy is we're going to sell it at the top, and then we're going to take all that money. Is going to walk people through how they're going to flip that money and put it back into Bitcoin at the bottom of the bear market to have more Bitcoin. That's how he's going to explain it to all of his shareholders and everything. His
He
tone's
won't
going to
explain it.
like,
He'll just do it. He'll just do it. He won't explain it.
well, I think he'll explain it after he does it.
Yeah, after he does it.
Yeah.
Well, he has come out here recently and did tell his investors that that they would think about selling Bitcoin at some point. So I mean, he is starting to capitulate a little bit, I think, on that narrative. But obviously, he's still the biggest spokesperson on Bitcoin. He's still the Bitcoin Jesus, and I think he's going to remain that way. The same thing with Tom Lee as well. As even recently, he's made comments against with Tom Lee, pointing to that same sort of platform. But yeah, I agree with Believes in most of that actually. I think the only difference is that I think maybe over time, maybe it'll be harder for Ethereum to hold that same sort of resilience, if you will, in the DATs and the DATs, right? So I think the digital asset treasuries will do all right for most of the countries. The ones, of course, that'll diamond hands and hold. Some of the smaller companies, we're going to see them go wash out. Where are they right now? Like, there's over 100 companies now that hold Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Are they all gonna, be relevant here in the next 4 or 5 years? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I could tell you the top 5-10 might. Like Benaplanet's done amazing this year. Are they gonna capitulate? It depends on how bad we see the bear market, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I think
for
with
arguments,
oh,
go ahead, Ruth.
I think with some of these assets, it's going to be like the first people that bought like Ford or AT&T, right? You'll be able to hold on to these and just draw passive income forever. For like, especially the ISO coins, like the XRPs, the ISO adjacent ones like a Solana and things like that. You'll be able on Uphold and other different platforms to earn like passive income forever. And then for like people who are rich enough to be accredited investors, you'll even be able to earn like further interest in different places. A company called Galaxy, shout out to the patrons. They're a stock you can buy on, on the stock market. They're trying to become like the accredited Robinhood, where for accredited investors, you can put your crypto on there and earn a higher yield than you would any other place. So I think for certain cryptos like that, XRP, Solana, Algorand, stuff like that, you'll be able to hold them forever and earn interest just like you would of a Ford stock or an AT&T stock.
What do you guys think about BlackRock's new Bitcoin yield-based ETF?
I think it's inevitable across the board, right? I mean, we're seeing all these spot ETF applications for even Ethereum and Solana that are going to, be giving staking rewards, right? I mean, that's an
Yeah, it should have
inevitability.
happened already, except the government shut down. We should have
Yeah.
seen an announcement from the SEC. We just didn't get it because I think the 16th was the date for the XRP ETF.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, those are an inevitability as well. It's just, too many people with, that are newer to crypto, and I understand it. There's all these like ifs. None of this stuff is ifs. It's all when, right? And if you're patient, like I always say in crypto, you will succeed. It's really that simple, in my opinion. But yeah. Anyway, guys, I think we'll wrap it there. I'm hoping that these shows kind of pick up so we can do them multiple 2, 3, 4 days a week, maybe 5. I'm hoping to have all of you guys on as rotating guests. And by the way, guys, again, I'll say it. I know you weren't here, Bleaves, when I said it earlier. Everyone, the link to everybody's channels is in the description. So make sure you guys go and subscribe to Rue, Otaku, and Bleaves, of course. And yeah, I'm always listening to Bleaves, especially when I'm when I'm on the bike at the gym. I'm listening to you go off, brother. So.
Damn, Bleaves, I got to tell you, man, you look ripped compared to when I last saw you, my man. Compared to the bear market last cycle, damn.
Yeah, you've been grinding hard, brother. I know. I've been paying attention to you. You've been working it. Last time, Bleaves, a lot of people that don't know, I don't even know if you remember or not, but when my channel was like just a couple of hundred subscribers, Bleaves took the time to come on the channel a couple of times, and could have just blew me off and not given me the time of day, but very, very solid dude, man. Very solid dude. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks as always for coming on. Again, guys, make sure you go subscribe to their channels, and I'll see you guys later. I'll message all of you.
Peace.
All right, take it easy. Later.